Hey guys, Dawn Soulfighter here, and I have returned after a little few days off just to relax and all. And with my return, I have an updated deck profile for Nirvana. Yes, I know I've only done it about a week or two ago, but I wanted to do an updated one since this deck has changed quite a bit since you guys last saw it in that previous video. So remember, like and subscribe, and let's get to 200 subs now, I guess. Alright, ride deck. Our starter has changed. We've gone back to Sunrise Egg. I don't remember if I had it in the last video, but if it was, you'll know the reason there. But it was either this or Trickstar, and the draw, if you go second, is probably better in certain matchups. Next, for grade 1, Blaze made a Reno. So with Reno, you search out Trickstar if you Ray you on top of it. Then we have Rayu, so when you ride Nirvana, you Soul Blast out and add Virina from deck to hand, which is pretty good. Then the main boss, Nirvana, just gets off a lot of combos you might need. So, and of course, because most boards I make usually end up having like both front row rear guards having overdress units, so it helps to boost the front row. For grade 3s, this has been a bit of a change since you guys last saw. So we first have our 3 Persona Ride targets, because Persona Ride's actually pretty good, so you guys see why there. And we also have 2 copies of now Virina Valiente, and that's pretty much it for the grade 3 slots. Because with this, we can now focus to getting up to here or into a new units that you guys didn't see in the last video. And what does Valiente do? You overdress him over a grade 3 or less unit in the overdress state or Trickstar, and he gets plus 5,000 for each of its overdresses. And if his attack hits, you can blast 1, discard and restun him, which is pretty good. Okay, for grade 2s, we have 3 copies of Virina Elgar, our new boss of the deck, thanks to a brush with the legends. What does he do? If he's in the hand and after Trickstar's attack to Vanguard and the Vanguard's Nirvana, you Soul Blast 2 and overdress this on Trickstar and count to charge 1, which is pretty good. And he has another effect. If this unit's in the overdressed state, he gets plus 10k power and shield, which also is active on the opponent's turn, so that's pretty good. Next, we have Virine Arcs at 3, which is obvious because he is literally pot agreed for the deck, and he gets plus 5 when you use that effect, so that's pretty good. And then I've dropped the numbers down, but I'm now only running 2 copies of Virina, because you need to have 1 for Rayu's skill, otherwise pretty much a waste. And finally, for our last slots at grade 2, we have 2 copies of Burn Bright Pure Prayer, which is actually has saved me in a couple matches against friends, like my friend who uses Bastion and Orphist. So that helps, because what it does is, if my damage zones has 3 or more cards, choose one of my units and it gets plus 15,000 power until the end of battle, which is pretty good. Alright, for grade 1s, we are running 2 copies of Blaze Maiden Aruna. So with Aruna, if it boosts to grade 0, that this unit gets plus 5, so this helps when you got Trickstar and you're trying to overdress into Virina Elgar. And then we have 2 copies of Blaze Maiden Mirren, which is, I know it's a bit weird, but hear me out. So with his effect, when a unit with overdress ability attacks, you send it to the soul and choose 1 unit with the overdress ability and it gets plus 5,000 power. So what I use this for is to usually build up the soul so I can get into maybe 1 or 2 Elgars a turn, if that's possible. I mean, it's not once per turn, so if I do it right and there's 2 Trickstars out, that could work in theory. Then we've got 3 copies of Stealth Dragon Tension Steads, so if the attack this unit boost hits, you can blast 1, retire him, and then add a copy of what you usually would go for is Nirvana from deck to hand, so you can get your Persona Rides ready for next turn. Next, we have 1 copy of Stealth Dragon Togo Chirashi. Yes, an SP version. I know, pulled this in a box recently. Pretty nice. So what he does is, if you discard it from your hand during your turn, you send it to the soul instead, which is pretty good. Helps you build the soul for Virina and Urga. And usually, this is probably one of your main rides. When you go into the ride deck, this is probably one of your main discards you want to go for. And then to round up grade 1s for PGs, I still need to get 2 more copies of Twin Buckler, but for now I'm going 2 and 2. Okay, finally, grade zeros. We'll start off with 4 copies of Trickster, because obviously he's the main starting parts of most of the combos that involve Overdress in this deck. Overtrigger, Steel Drug Vader, unless they release a new one, but I know for a fact they're not going to be releasing anything like this for a while. So what's his additional effect? If you drive check it, you not only give one unit 100 million power, but you can also restand the Vanguard, which is pretty good. And then for our trigger lineup, it's 4 heals, 3 fronts. So these are the new fronts, which if the opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, when you use this to guard, it becomes a 20k shield, which is pretty good. 2 draws, and we round it up with 5 criticals. Alright, so that is the deck profile. Sorry, can't pronounce it then. But thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye, guys.